Welcome to the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County Forum for candidates for Marysville School District Director, Position 3. I'm Vicki Roberts-Gassler, member and a past president of our league. This forum is being live streamed to our league YouTube channel. To those in the virtual space, thank you for joining us. We refer to these primary forums as virtual doorbelling. We will ask a short series of questions, the kind of questions you might ask if the candidate came to your door. Our questions are designed to give you a clear idea of each candidate's experience and the issues they believe are important to address. A recording of the forum will be available on this same YouTube channel for later viewing. Let me provide some background on the position. School district directors set policies on curriculum. They talk about books, dress codes, disciplinary actions. They hire superintendents. They set the district budgets and work with teachers, administrators, parents, and community members to support all aspects of K through 12 education. Candidates for Marysville School District Director, Position 3 are Beth Hoiby, Sherryl Kenney, and Elora Wykes. Candidate Kira Atchley is not participating in the forum. The League thanks all the candidates for running for office, for their willingness to serve the community if elected, and for participating in this forum. It is the policy of the League to be nonpartisan. Therefore, we neither endorse nor oppose candidates or parties. We do take positions on issues which we have studied and on which we have reached consensus. The rules for participation in the forum were sent ahead of time to all participants, and they have agreed to engage in respectful communication throughout. Let me briefly explain the question and answer period rules, sir. We are using a countdown timer visible to all the candidates, and time limits on answers will be strictly enforced. I will change the starting order for each question, alternating candidates in the starting position to ensure a fair sequence. The order for the first question will be Sherryl Kenney, Beth Hoiby, and Elora Wykes. Let's begin. Candidates will have 2 minutes to respond to this first question. We start with Ms. Kenney. The question is, what are the major issues you feel need to be addressed by this office? Please explain why you are focusing on these issues.
Two of the major issues that I feel need to be addressed by this office are curriculum content and DEI. I checked out the information on the website and I really appreciated that it was out there to review. I didn't have a problem. Most of it seemed pretty standard. The only issue I had was with the health curriculum, lessons related to sexual orientation and gender identity that is being taught started in the 6th grade. This is offensive to many parents. Right now, they can only opt out of the HIV/AIDS prevention lessons or all of the human and growth development. I would like to make it so that parents might be okay with some of these lessons, but not all of them. And I would like to give parents the option to opt out of them. And not everyone goes to college. Not everyone gets an office job or a computer job. I would like to see more trade, school prep, more programs like the fire program that my late grandson was in. How about a journalism, a radio, or a TV production program? As far as DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, I do not support this. I don't know what the laws are required, but I will fight to keep it at a very minimum. Marysville School District is thick in it as outlined in their strategic plan 2021-22 through 25. I was surprised to find it on almost every page. The first action plan for human resource priority was to increase equitable practices in the hiring and recruiting practices. This looks like this is just one example. You can't hire people based on buckets that is grouped by a protected class. Just today, the Supreme Court ruled that affirmative action is unconstitutional, and DEI is just that.
Thank you. Ms. Hoiby, same question. Unmute, please.
So I do agree with Ms. Kenney's opinions on curriculum. I do agree that parents need to have direct involvement. I don't like the schools taking over a lot of this, especially the sexual stuff. I want the parents to be involved in that and be able to opt out. I do agree with that. I can't say I've looked into that other stuff, but I think a lot of the problems that Marysville has is financial. So I do believe in oversight in the fiscal responsibility of the board and the district, or the board over the district. And also making sure that we're getting adequate funding. I think that the state is falling short. And I think that it's the board's responsibility to do everything that we can to make sure that we're getting money to the educators and the children. I also think it's important to get involved in the community and to hear what our voters are interested in. I could have my own opinions, but I think it's important to listen and get out there in the community and hear what people in our district want and what their concerns are, because my concerns might not be the same as theirs. I raised my two kids. They are graduates of Marysville Pilchuck, and I'm done with all that, but they are experiencing different things right now than what I experienced and what my kids did. So those are my issues.
Thank you. Ms. Wykes. Please come off mute.
Thank you. One of the major issues I see is something that these other candidates have touched on. It revolves around the usurpation of parental authority by the government, basically. It could be the state level, federal level, even the local level, and I want to see that restored. I see how people in charge of schools seem to see their students and their families as not in high a light as what their policy might be. From legislators to administrators, union ideologies seem to put their ways above traditional family values. And I know some families can be pretty messed up, but students still understand their world from the perspective of their families. So the education system, more often than not, seems to come between students and their families. Like, I have several questions that I haven't found satisfactory answers for, such as, why do students in our state have medical autonomy at age 13? Why are medical clinics being put in public schools starting even last year, and parents don't have to know what's going on? That's just frightening. Governor Inslee signed Senate Bill 5599 that lets youth be taken out of the schools without parents knowing if they have gender confusion. And to me, that does not seem like it's going to help. It seems like it's going to hurt. And when kids are confused, they need their families. And at least keep them in the picture. At least bring in other people that you feel might have a different opinion, but don't lock out families. That's what grounds people and helps them even see, right from wrong, truth from untruth. We have to keep families in the picture. So my goal is to restore parental authority, and like Beth mentioned, going out and finding out what people in this district want. What do the parents want? What do the students want? And academics, and even 5G got my attention. I want to know how 5G is.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Candidates will have 90 seconds for each of the next two questions. Timer, please adjust the clock. This question will go first to Ms. Wykes. What qualifications and experience make you a good choice to address the issues?
I have proven compassion and tenacity. To make changes, we need to empower the voice of parents above all other voices that are influencing our children. We are responsible for them. The Constitution grants only the parents the right to raise their children as they see fit. Several court cases have upheld this view. I will put out surveys asking parents what they want and what they do not want taught. I will even ask the same of students. I will encourage the school board to adhere to the responses of these surveys. I will work on bringing volunteers back into schools. Students benefit greatly by them. When my son was a student at Arts and Tech, I actually taught his Spanish class because the substitute Spanish teacher didn't know how to speak Spanish. So I did that for about a month. all volunteer. I also would come in at lunchtime and just hang out with the kids. We did origami just so that they knew that they were loved. My daughter struggled in her English class at Getchell. So I went in there and I helped her understand how English was taught there. Another daughter at Kellogg Marsh, I helped and I volunteered teaching math at lunchtime. This led to me being a counselor at the 5th grade camp. So when I walked around the track at Cedar Crest, I saw that there was a greenhouse that was totally overgrown. So I went to the school and I said, can I clean this up for you? It's now still clean and being used by special ed students. So I care, I get stuff done. And at this level, I'm just going to bring it up a notch and say, get others involved. That's what needs to happen. We need to get more people involved in getting stuff done.
Thank you. Same question to Ms. Kenney.
I'm a concerned grandmother with years of life experience. I also have a bachelor's degree in healthcare services and a master's degree in computer science. I wish to represent parents who are super busy and keep their rights in mind. Children belong to parents, not the government, state or federal. Parents put their trust in the school district to teach their children, not to indoctrinate them with the current political ideologies that I see sweeping our country. I would fight to make sure that political fads like BLM and Pride aren't on full display in our classrooms. Teachers are here to teach and prepare students for real life, not for the life of activism and political discourse. And I just wanted to mention one thing about the gender identity issue. It is actually has a medical billing code. It is ICD-10 CM code F640. It is a mental issue. It covers both gender identity disorder and adolescence in adulthood. So I don't understand why they have been risen to such a level. These kids need help mentally, not mutilated. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question to Ms. Hoiby.
So the question was about what my qualifications and experience are. And my primary concern was the fiscal responsibility. I'm a real estate appraiser. I've been appraising in this area for 20 years. And I grew up in Marysville, K through 12, Liberty Elementary, all the way to MP. I understand the importance of the levies and the bonds that need to be passed. I understand how they work. I understand how to explain them to people, because I think a lot of people don't understand when their taxes go up and what that money goes to. And I think people are just really misinformed. And when our property values are solid and good, it helps everybody, whether you have a kid in school or not. So I think that that's my main qualification, is just real estate and knowing this area, and just being a mom and going through all this. Like, I can relate to what parents are concerned about. So.
Thank you. For this third question, again for 90 seconds, we will begin with Ms. Hoiby. Councils, commissions, and boards are required to deliberate and make decisions in public, and to hear from those whose ideas may differ. Please give us an example that demonstrates your ability to work in this way.
Well, I have my own opinions, but I am a loving person that I have friends and have worked with people from all different backgrounds. And I really think that the problem right now in our world is that it's like, if you don't agree with somebody on something, that you automatically need to hate them. And I just think that we can disagree. Like, I feel like I can listen to people's opinions, and even if I don't agree with them, I can still care about where they're coming from. And I think that just being diplomatic and open-minded and just listening to the community is a really big part of this position. And I hope that I can bring that. I hope that that's something that I'll be able to do if I'm elected.
You're muted. Who's next?
Same question to Ms. Wykes.
Yes. Okay. I have attended church councils, city planning commissions, and I've seen how respectful questioning and dialogue occurs. I think we all know it when we see it, and the meetings are orderly. I do not expect anyone to completely agree with me or even completely disagree with me. And I don't know of anyone who expects others to completely agree with him or her. I may disagree 100% with someone, but I'm always going to respect them. I know that we're all made in the image of God, and I don't like everyone, but I will never disrespect them. I might really disagree with what they're saying or even how they're saying it, even if they're disrespectful to me. I believe at my age, I have acquired enough discipline to not respond in kind when someone is being rude. And I want that to be an example to others, especially younger people. Like Beth was saying, we can totally disagree and still be respectful. And I'm sure Sherryl agrees. I presented information in group settings and we discuss it, and it all depends on what the goal is of the group. So in a school board session, we would be discussing different options, gaining more information and discussing those. And my only problem might be asking too many questions, because I like to give as reasonable an answer as I can. And so I do like to learn a lot of information.
Thank you. Same question to Ms. Kenney.
I believe in an open door policy. Let's talk and help me to understand your position. I don't have to agree with all the ideas, but I can take your position to the board for a consensus. If you can give a good argument backed by facts, I can change my mind about something. If you can show me that it's good for the school district and for the students, then I can back it. I have years of experience with project management, of getting groups of people together to hash out ideas and come to a consensus. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, timer, please note that candidates will have 60 seconds for the final question. And we will start with Ms. Kenney. The question is this: please tell us something about your life experience that might surprise or intrigue voters. Ms. Kenney.
When in my early 20s, I found myself a single mom in a small town where I stood in food lines to feed my babies. I put myself through 2 years of college via a Pell Grant just to get a minimum wage job that actually paid less than I was getting on state aid. But I wanted to set an example of being a responsible, hardworking adult. Opportunities weren't available when my children were teenagers, so I packed them up and we moved to Snohomish County, where I have lived for the last 20 plus years. And after my children went on to be productive tax-paying citizens, I went back to school and got my bachelor and my master's degree and developed my skills that eventually landed me the job that I have now. I have achieved the American dream via hard, honest work. And I want that for every Marysville student who wants to put in the hard work.
Thank you. Ms. Hoiby.
I love that. I love that story. So I think the thing about me that I want people to know is that I'm deeply rooted in Marysville. My grandparents graduated from Marysville High School in the 40s. My great grandparents were hired by the tribes to farm and teach the tribal members how to farm. And I have a deep connection with the tribes that I think is important in this position. My mom opened up Liberty Elementary in 57, I think it was. And then I went there also. So I'm understanding how old some of our buildings are. My grandpa was a volunteer fireman and served as Marysville's fire chief. So I just have roots here and a family history of community service.
Thank you. Ms. Wykes.
My name, so August of 2012 saw the end of a bitter divorce begun in 2010 for me. It was so painful that being numb from shock most of the time was probably the best thing for me. In 2013, as I was staring at nothing again, the Lord literally grabbed my chin and said, divorce does not define you. I define you. You are my creation. You are not just a victory anymore. You're a God victory. Okay, I thought, it's a cool wordplay. You see, the letters E-L mean God in Hebrew. Laura, L-O-R-A, means victorious, a victor from the word laurel. Greek Olympians won a laurel crown. Laura is my given name. God made me choose. As a dog returns to its vomit, you return to your old way of seeing yourself, he told me. Make my name for you official or live in your emotional vomit the rest of your life. My first thought was, my family's going to hate this and friends won't understand, but I choose you, God. If you're making me choose, I choose you. So in 2015, I legally changed my first name. I added an E. I still get pushback, but obeying God's worth it.
Thank you. This concludes our questions. The League appreciates these candidates for joining us and for running for office. A recording of this forum and others will be available on the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County website and YouTube channel. Find the links at lwvsnoho.org, lwvsnoho.org. We encourage you to explore additional information about these and all candidates. The Snohomish County voter pamphlet will be mailed to residences starting July 12th. Primary election ballots will be mailed starting July 13th, and Election Day is August 1st. Please be a voter. Thank you to our League Candidate Forum team, and special thanks to Dave Moon and the Sultan School students at TurkPride.tv who made this live stream possible. And of course, thank you all for joining us. This concludes our candidate forum.
Thank you.